Of strategy, we had discussed difference between strategy and tactics. That also we had discussed. What is strategic management? That also we had discussed in the previous session. Strategic plan, we all are aware. Strategy, we all are aware. When we mix both the words strategy and plan, it becomes strategic plan. Now, plan for achieving the goal, for achieving the target, each and every organization comes up with a particular plan. And for executing that particular plan, some strategy is implemented by the organization. Organization has decided that this year we want to achieve the target of so much of profit. How we are going to achieve that target? For that, planning is done. And for implementing that planning, that okay, we will be doing this much of work, these many employees will be employed by the organization. So that type of planning, we all are aware that type of planning is to be done for achieving any target, any goal. And strategy is when we execute that plan on ground. Now, component of strategic plan, there are certain components of strategic plan. First one is vision, then mission, then values, goals, strategies, and initiatives or projects. So, vision we have discussed in detail. So, again, we will not be going into it in detail. In short, we will discuss that it is future state, what we choose to be. That is vision. Vision is a very simple statement of the company, but very meaningful and very powerful statement, very short, very precise, very crisp. For example, the company writes that we will enter in this particular area of business and we want to be top of that particular in the one of the top player in that particular business in next 15 years, or maybe next 20 years, or maybe next 10 years. So vision is some sort of dream of the organization. They want to achieve that dream, that one day we want to achieve that particular position. And that is what vision is. It is always future. That is the reason why it is written future states, what we choose to be. Next is mission. Now, mission statement is, in short, why the organization exists and what is the core purpose of the organization. Why the organization exists. So, for starting the when the organization is started by the owner of the organization or founder of the organization, he has or she has in his or her mind the purpose, that why he or she wants to start the company or business, and that is mission. So once a vision is drawn by the company, then comes the mission, and then the company tries to achieve that vision with the help of mission. So mission is the present state and the vision is the future state. So whatever future goal the organization has decided in terms of vision is to be achieved with the help of mission. Next is value. Now, every organization has its values. Some organization gives the foremost importance to profit, whereas some organization give foremost value to the employees working in the organization. So it depends from organization to organization that what should be the values of the organization. So there is not a strict rule that these are the values which are to be implemented or which are to be accepted by each and every organization. So organization chooses its own value, and that shows that how of the image of the organization, or with the help of values we can understand which type of that particular organization is. So again, it is very important values. I'll give you an example also, that for example, in an interview a question was asked to late Mr. Ratan Tata, that why after in existence for more than 150 years the Tata group of companies is not the wealthiest company in the country. Why the other company which is there in existence for last 40 years or maybe 50 years, why they have overtaken you in terms of money, in terms of profitability, in terms of wealth generation? His reply was that our values are different from the values of those companies. And he summed it up that they are businessmen. They are looking from the point of view of profitability. And that's the reason why they are planning just to gain more and more profit. Whereas Tata group of companies, they are not into business, they are not businessmen, they are industrialists. And their values is not solely earning profit. For them, the betterment of their employees, betterment of the society is more important than earning profit or maximizing the wealth generation. So that is how value differs from companies to company. It is not that each and every company is going to have the same values. So one company may think of how they can earn more and more wealth year after year. The other company may think that okay, wealth generation, of course, it is to be there. But for some company, it is first preference. For some company, it is second or third preference. So Tata group of companies, he said that we want to give it back to the society first. So we want to develop the society. And we all are aware that how much the Tata group of companies, they are concentrating, or how much they are spending on the welfare activities, whether it is education, whether it is the medical care, or it is infrastructure. So they are spending a huge amount on the infrastructure, on the CSR activities. It is not that they are only following the mandatory norms as per the Companies Act. that if you earn this much of profit, out of this much of profit, you have to utilize this much for the corporate social responsibility. They are not bothered about that. They are spending a huge amount on CSR activities, and it always exceeds the norms of the government. Whereas the other companies, whatever the rule says, if the rule says 2%, we will be spending 2% only. Whereas the this Tata group of companies, they are not. They are ready to spend more than the amount which is prescribed in the Companies Act. So that is how we can say that values differ. That part is very important. The classic example is the terrorist attack on Taj Mahal Hotel. Most of you might be aware of. Now, that particular attack was, studied, or it is being taught as case study in many uh, top business schools, not only in India, but all over the world. And one of the findings of these studies, the attack which took place on the Taj Mahal Hotel, one of the findings depicts the values of the company. Now, I'll just give you an example that those who were working in the Taj Mahal Hotel, the employees of the hotel, till the hotel was under renovation after the attack, till that particular period when the hotel was under renovation, when it was not open for business, when the guests were not coming, when the revenue was stopped, at that particular time also all the employees were given salary. And we see now other companies that as and when they feel that no, we do not have enough work for these many employees, the first thing they are going to do is they are going to remove the employee, or they will be informing the employee, as there is no work, we cannot afford to pay you. Whereas that particular company, Tata group of companies, they came up with the idea, no, employees are our stakeholders. We have earned profit because of our employees. And now, because of this adverse situation, we have to take care of the employee. And not only they took care of the employees who were working in the organization, you will be surprised that Mr. Ratan Tata, he also ordered or instructed his managers that please see to it that the small vendors who were doing very small business of selling balloons, selling sweets, or selling some odd articles outside the hotel, because the hotel is not in operation, because the guests are not coming, they have also lost the business, their livelihood. So try to find out the address of those people and try to help them financially so that they can sustain during this um, uh, bad period. That shows the how important the role the values play. Very important. So vision, again, most important. Based on vision, your mission is written, And then comes your values. That for getting a contract, if you are compromising on your ethics or ethical principles, that shows your value. So values again plays a very vital part. And because of these values, we can see that some companies, they wind up their business after 10 years, 20 years, or maybe 30, 40, 50 years. Whereas companies like Tata Group of companies, they are in existence for the last so many years. So that is because of the values of the company. Next one is the goals. We are discussing the components of a strategic plan. Then comes the fourth is the goals, that is the strategic targets and measures of success. Every company, whether it's a small company or a big company, every company comes up with the short term goals, medium term goals, and long term goals. Every company comes up with. Why the company comes up with this type of goals, that short term, medium, and the long term goals? Because every company wants to measure its progress. So how a company can measure its progress? The company can measure its progress in a simple manner by measuring against the set standard in terms of the short term goals, in terms of medium goals, and in terms of long term goals. Whether we are on the right direction, the company can come to know if with the achievement of short term goals, with the achievement of medium goals. If they are not moving in the right direction, if they are unable to achieve the short term goals, that means some changes in the planning is required, or some changes in the strategy for implementing planning is required, and accordingly the company can make those changes and they can come up with a revised strategy which can be implemented. So that is what goals are. Next is strategies, our plans to achieve our goals. So strategy again, it is very important for the success. And strategy, it is not. Last time also we had discussed that strategy is not a term which is used only in business world. It is used everywhere. Strategy is there in sports. Strategy is there in education. Strategy is there in warfare. So everywhere the strategy is there. Everywhere. Now, those who had seen a movie called Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. Now, General Sam Manekshaw, later on, who was given that honor to become the first field marshal. Now, how strategy plays a very important role in deciding, or how it becomes a decisive factor, that I'll just give you a very small example. Now, in 1971, when India was at war with Pakistan, now during that, in 1971 or maybe in 1970s, 70, the situation war between the two neighboring countries, that is India and Pakistan, was not very good. By summer of 1971, the situation became worse, and a meeting was called by the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, where the Chief of Army Staff at that particular time, General Sam Manekshaw, was the chief of army staff. He was called for the meeting, and the defense secretary and all the other higher officials were there. At that particular time, it was decided that we should not wait for the Pakistan to attack and then we will retaliate. We should plan right from now, or as and when we feel that now the situation has become worse, we should be the first to attack. Let's not wait. And this was discussed during summer of 1971 at that particular time. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware or not. Indira Gandhi was also known as Iron Lady of India. She was very strict, she was very authoritative, and she worked like a dictator. And she never accepted that anyone shall deny her orders. Whatever she used to instruct, the others used to follow. She was so strict, so authoritative. Now, he was General Sam Manekshaw in that particular meeting when the decision was finalized that we will be in attack mode in the summer itself. At that particular time, General Sam Manekshaw was the first person who went against that particular decision. He opposed that decision of the Prime Minister, and he informed the Prime Minister, right now we are not in a position, we are not well planned, we have to prepare a strategy. Why we need to prepare strategy? So that we can win the war first. Second, minimum casualty shall take place. If we are going to war without a strategy, then chances are more that our casualty can be more. We want to save the lives of our people. And for that, he said, General Sam Manekshaw said that I need time of 5 to 6 months. Let me design a strategy. And on the basis of that strategy, we will go to war. And I assure you that we are going to win the war. And result we all are aware. Because of that strategy, everything changed. And the, the largest surrender took place. Largest surrender of war. 93,000 Pakistani soldiers had surrendered before the Indian army. 93,000. So we can imagine, had he accepted the decision of going to war in summer, things might be different. So he opposed that decision taken by the Prime Minister, the most powerful person. For what? For preparing a strategy. And on the basis of that strategy, India was able to say take the surrender of 93,000 Pakistani soldiers and officers. So that is because of strategy. So that is how important a strategy is. So for the success of any organization, any business, strategy plays a very, very, very vital role. Now, how Indica was launched, I'm not sure whether how many of you are aware of the launch of India's first car, made in India. Now, the strategy before the launch of Indica, the Tata Motors was suffering loss. and they wanted to sell the company. Discussions were made between Ford Motors and Tata Motors, and everyone is aware of that. When Tata decided that we are not going to sell Tata Motors and we will go for a turnaround strategy. Again, turnaround strategy. Now, turnaround strategy is when a business is suffering heavy losses, when a company is repeatedly facing loss after loss, the company feels that one last chance we want to give the company. At that particular time, the company may come up with a particular strategy, and that strategy can be called as turn around strategy, which turns the fortune of the company. And that strategy turned the entire fortune of the company. How the car was marketed by the company, very important part. India's first car, that was the tagline. Made in India, first made in car, India car. Indian people's own car. Now, such type of taglines were advertised. And that type of strategy, that is how a strategy was prepared, that we are going to showcase that Indica is the Indian car, first Indian car. Before that, the Maruti was there in India, and we all are aware that it is in collaboration with the Japanese company. So Indica became the first Indian car. The other companies also, they were in collaboration with the Italian company or some European companies like Premier Padmini or the other brands at that particular time in 1990s. So that particular strategy of branding as people's car or India's own car, made in India car. The second strategy which they highlighted is that they projected it as one of the safest car at that particular time. Some research was done by the company which highlighted that although Maruti 800 at that particular time, Maruti 800 was the car. Maruti 800 and other Maruti brands or cars were doing very well. But one thing they lacked is safety features or safety part. And that was again highlighted along with India's first car. That this car is more safer to go for this car. And that changed the entire thing. That changed the fortune of the company. And company from loss making company became a profit making company. So that is called as turnaround strategy. So that is how the strategy plays a very vital role in the strategic plan of a company. And last one is the initiatives or projects, specific projects to support our strategies. How India went to war in 1971 with a particular strategy, and what was the result? That is what just we had discussed. How Tata Motors went from losses to profit making with the help of a particular strategy or coming up with a car, naming that car with that word India. So it resembles very closely to the word of the name of the country. So India has its own car, name of the car is Indica. So such type of campaigns were run, and because of that, it was a huge hit. So these are some of the components of a strategic plan. So after say a strategic plan contains all these components. When all these components are present, then the plan becomes strategic plan. Otherwise, the plan will remain a normal plan. If you have not understood anything, please go ahead, or we will move on to the next one. That is the key components of strategic planning process. Yes. Anyone who has not understood anything, please go ahead. Any component you have not understood? Okay. I hope my voice is clear to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are audible.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the key components of strategic planning process. So first one is vision and mission that we are aware of. Then comes the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, again, we had discussed in the previous session also, that it talks about strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis. So every organization writes down what are the strengths of the company, what are the opportunities for the company, what are the threats for the company. Threats for the company can be the competition for the company, or difficulty in getting the raw material or technology for the company. All these things are considered as threats for the company, or uh, there is a change in the government and the new government is coming up with such a policy which will make the company to sell its product difficult in the company, difficult in the market. So that is again under the threat. So, for example, the companies which are manufacturing, say, pan masala or gutka, the moment maybe the companies might be doing very good 10 years back when the government came up with a particular rule which banned manufacturing and sale of gutka. More than 10 years back, it was uh, implemented. At that particular time, the companies which were manufacturing or which were selling, which were marketing these type of products, they were earning a huge profit, huge profit. At that particular time, they were considered as, the owners of these companies were considered as the richest people of the country. Richest people of the country, they were having more money, more wealth at that particular time. Not, I'm not talking about today, I'm talking about at that particular time, particularly when it was at boom during 1990s. At that particular time, they were more, they were having more money, they were more wealthier than Mr. Adani, Mr. Ambani, and Ambani family and Adani family. They were very rich. All of a sudden, the government came up with the law which prohibited manufacturing and selling of pan masala or gutka related products. So that is threat for the organization. That became the threat for the organization. So they had to enter into other markets. They had to shift their say product. They closed one product and they started coming up. They came up with another product. So every organization does this type of SWOT analysis. It is not that right now we are having, say, sky is the limit for us, and this sky is the limit is going to be with us for years and years together. It can be because of any reason. It can be because of government rules and regulations. It can be because of the scarcity of raw material. It can be because of the technology. It can be because of competition. So many things are there. So every organization during the strategic planning process, they uh, do their SWOT analysis also. And on the basis of that SWOT analysis, they come up with their planning process, strategic planning process. Next one is goal setting. Then again, every organization sets its goal. Every organization, whether it's a small organization or a multinational organization, every organization has its goals. And particularly, the goal of most of the organization, the foremost goal, the first goal, or the most important goal is to earn profit. So they every organization sets a goal for itself. Then comes the next one is related to market research. Before entering into a particular area, before starting a particular business, market research is very important. Without research, if you are starting your business, chances are more that you will end up with loss. And if you are entering into a particular business after conducting a thorough market research, chances are more that you will be successful. That is very important. So, market research, we all are aware that you need to research that, okay, if you have decided that you want to enter in the market of, say, manufacturing uh, E2 wheelers. So proper research is to be done. What is the present market? What is the potential in this market in future? How many players are there? Then what is the market share of these players? What are the strengths and weaknesses of these players? Can we compete with these players? If yes, how we can compete with these players? How much investment is required? When we will be getting returns on our investment? All these things are to be decided under market research. Very important that which product we will be manufacturing. And that is very important. Or which business we will be entering. Very important. Next one is strategy development. Once you have completed your SWOT analysis on the basis of your vision and mission, goal is set, market research is thorough, market research is being done, then you can start with your strategy development. Then you can come up with your strategy that this is how we are going to manufacture this particular product. This is how we are going to market it. This is how we will be advertising, or these are the platforms on which we will be advertising our product. Whether we will be going for electronic marketing or social media marketing, or we will be going to say uh, publishing the ads related to the product on the newspapers or magazines. All this is to be decided under the strategy development. Next is on the basis of strategy. Next comes is action planning. Action only if you have prepared a strategy, and if you have not implemented the strategy on ground, there will be no success. Strategy, of course, it is very important to prepare a strategy, but equally important is implementing that strategy as it is on ground. So that comes under the action planning, that how we will be under action planning, that how we are going to implement that strategy, that how many employees are required, how much raw material will be required, how many machines will be required, how many with whom we will be making a tie-up for marketing our product. All these things is again under action planning. Action planning is we are entering into a contract with the company which is going to market our product. So in strategy development, out of say 5 companies which we had shortlisted for marketing our product, In action planning, what we are going to do is the one which is finalized now, we will be entering into an agreement with that particular company that yes, you are going to market our product on this platform. Next comes implementation and monitoring. Implementation and monitoring. Monitoring again is very important. Continuous monitoring. Why it is required? Because if we are observing, if we are monitoring, then we can very easily find out whether we are going in a right direction or not. And as and when we feel no, we are not moving in a right direction, we can immediately make some corrections in that particular strategy instead of waiting for a particular period of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the strategy implementation period is. So that is why monitoring is very important. Next one is evaluation and feedback. Once the strategy is implemented, once we have received the results, evaluation of those results is very important. Feedback of those results is very important. With the help of evaluation, we can find out if any corrective measures can be implemented in that particular strategy or not. So that comes at evaluation and feedback, and adjustment and continuous improvement. Every company, no company can say that we have achieved such a stage that from this stage there cannot be any improvement. No improvement is required. We have achieved everything. The moment any company comes up with this particular statement, that is the decline or downfall of that particular company. Every company, whether it is a small company or a multinational company, the company which is ruling the world, that company also has a scope for improvement. And that is the last point for strategic planning process. Now, the luxurious luxury car segment. Now, if we talk about luxury car segment, Rolls Royce is considered as one of the top luxury car maker company. Now, Rolls Royce also comes up with new designs, new improvements, new features. So they have not stopped. They have not started thinking that we are one of the most luxurious car making company, which is liked by people from all over the world. It is a say class symbol. The moment we see that a particular person has purchased a Rolls Royce, we have a particular image in of that particular person in our mind, that yes, if he had purchased or she had purchased Rolls Royce, that means he or she is a very rich person. Why? Because we are aware that it is a car which starts at a price of say 2 crore or more, 5 crore or more. So only wealthy people can afford to purchase that particular car. So, and most of the customers are happy with that particular car. So, after getting a positive feedback from most of the customers, still Rolls Royce believes that no, some improvement is required. And that's the reason why they are coming up with new improvements, new features. You take example of iPhone. They have not stopped doing improvement or implementing improvement, adding features, changing specifications, making the camera quality more better. And next, the iPhone will be coming with a better camera quality, better performance, because they have a strong belief that every time there is a scope for improvement. So strategic planning, it ends with a belief that there is always a scope for improvement. So every company which believes in proper implementation of strategic planning process, they have that particular uh, thinking in their mind. Yes, we have completed one cycle, but at the end, we are of the opinion that we have come or we have delivered the best product. But that doesn't mean that now in this particular product, no improvement is required. Still, the company is going to take the feedback from the employees. What extra you need in my product? And they will check whether this extra, which is or new features or improvement, which is being suggested by the people who are using the product, the customers, can be implemented in this product or not. And whatever is implemented, can be implemented, they try to implement that. And that is why the last uh, component is very important. And the moment the company starts believing that okay, we have achieved everything, now there is no scope for improvement. I had discussed regarding the Nokia also. When that Android system was launched, at that particular time, first the Android people went to Nokia. They requested Nokia that we have designed a system, a operating system. If you start using this system in your phone, the performance of your phone will improve. It is easier to use. It has more features. So it will definitely help your company to do more business, sell more phones. At that particular time, the answer from the senior officials of Nokia was that we are in this particular market, or we are ruling this market for so many years, and we do not see that if we implement or if we start using your operating system, our sales will improve. We believe that our operating system is one of the best system in the world, and that's the reason why we are at the top of the world. And they rejected that offer. Then Samsung accepted the offer, the other Chinese companies accepted the offer, and rest we all are aware. Where is Nokia? Where is Samsung? And now where is the Chinese company? We all are aware. So that is why it is said that continuous improvement is always there. We have to believe strategic planning process. It believes one of the most important component of planning process itself says that it is a continuous improvement. Continuous improvement means, although the company says or company feels that we have delivered, we have come up with the best quality product, the best product, but at the same time companies still believe that still there is a scope for further improvement. That is very important. So that was related to the key components of a strategic planning process. If anyone is having any doubt, please go ahead, or we will move on to the next one. That is ETOP, and ETOP is Environmental Threat Opportunity Profile. Yes, if you have not understood anything, please go ahead, or we will move on to the next one, and that is environmental threat and opportunity profile. Now, how to prepare for ETOP, or what is the ETOP, that we will be discussing in detail. We will be talking about ETOP in tomorrow's session. So first, it is divided into 4 quarters. The first quarter talks about dividing environment into different economic, market, social, international, ecological, etc. Second, analyzing the impact of each sector on the organization. Then the third one is uh, impact of each subsector on organization in the form of statement. And next one is subdividing each environmental sector into subsectors. Now, environmental threat and opportunity profile. Now, as it is very much similar on the lines of SWOT analysis. In SWOT analysis, it's a uh, statement which says that each and every company, before entering into the market, into business, they have to write it down, that what is their strength, opportunity, threat, and weaknesses. At the same time, ETOP also talks about these 4 quadrants. First quadrant talks about dividing the environment into different economic, market, social, international, and ecological. Next is analyzing the impact of each sector on the organization. What sector, for example, what is the impact of marketing? What is the impact of, say, ecology of on the progress of the company? So that is again very important. Third and fourth are the impact of subsector and subdividing each environmental sector, that in detail we will be discussing in tomorrow's session. Before that, I'll just give you an example that how the things are changing. Every one of you might have heard about the uh, very ambitious project which is being launched by Reliance company, and the name of that ambitious project is Vantara. Now, what is Vantara? We all are aware of. I hope that each and every student is aware of. And Vantara became famous because of various reasons. Mm, number of, say, gatherings, number of parties, or number of meetings were organized in that particular places, and the dignitaries, including the top ministers, they had been to that particular place. So it is a place which is taken care by the younger son of Mr. Mukesh Ambani, that is Anant Ambani. He is looking after that particular thing. Now, from one point of view, if we look at from a very macro level, we will come to know that it is it shows the concern the company is having towards environment. But if we dissect it from micro angle, we will come to know that how much profit the company is aiming from that particular project. It is not that company is just have come up with that particular ambitious project from the environmental, or they are looking from towards it from the environmental point of view only. They are looking towards it from a very different angle, and that is what makes the situation very interesting. Now, most of the companies or most of the governments in the world, they have come up with very strict norms related to carbon footprint. Now, in simple words, if we talk about carbon footprint, it is related to pollution. For every company, there are strict regulations related to, we will say, carbon footprints, or in simple words, it is called as pollution. Because every country is now, uh, say, paying more attention towards making a sustainable environment so that our coming generation, they can also take the benefits of the environment. Because in the last 30-40 years, because of fast industrialization, the environment has suffered a lot. And if the government is not coming up with any, say, corrective measure, our coming generation may not find the same environment which we had found. And for that, every country in the world is coming up with how they can reduce the carbon footprint, how they can control the pollution. And now most of the company have come up with penalties, that if we have finalized that this much of carbon footprint can be released by the company, or this much should be the pollution level of the company. If the pollution level or carbon footprint increases that prescribed limit, then penalty will be charged to that particular company. And because of that, and we are aware that Reliance is having the largest refineries and many businesses, so their carbon footprint is of course going to be more. So when the company will be, government will be coming up with very strict norms, at that particular time they may be required to pay a huge penalty because of more carbon footprint. To control that carbon footprint, what they have uh, done is they have came up with this very ambitious project. Now this project is going to counter their, the them give them an added advantage against carbon footprint. So that is what we will be discussing in the tomorrow's session. So thank you everyone for being present in today's session. Tomorrow again we will be meeting at the same time, that is 7 p.m. Thank you everyone. Thank you.